Hey, good morning, everyone. Thank you so much for joining us today. Well, I'm going to get some feedback. My name is Colin Beasley, the Appalachian Trail Conservancy Board Chair. As usual, before we get into the agenda, I would like to express my personal thanks and gratitude to a number of folks. First, if you are a member or a donor, thank you. Your charity has enabled the ATC to protect, manage, and advocate for the trail for nearly 100 years, and please know how grateful I am for you. Also, thank you to the ATC volunteers, whether you're working on trails, privies, shelters, removing invasive species, helping us in our trail centers, supporting ATC employees, whether you're a member of the board, the Stewardship Council, or the Next Gen Advisory Council, we truly appreciate you. Your work is truly appreciated. I'd like to acknowledge three very special volunteers: Colleen Peterson, Rob Hutchison, and Dan Howe. They have each selflessly served in a leadership role on the board and have dedicated a great amount of time to our transformation. I've had the fortune to serve with them in one capacity or another for 8+ years. I am extremely grateful to have their counsel. I have been humbled by their dedication, their passion, commitment, focus, and vision. They've each held a board leadership role. Colleen is the chair of the Advancement Committee. Dan is the chair of the Conservation Committee and a member of the Executive Committee. Rob is the chair of the Nominating Committee, being the vice chair of the board and a member of the Executive Committee. I'm truly fortunate to be able to call them my friends. I also want to say thank you to our partners, the trail clubs. With all the weather events, these have been very trying times when it comes to trail management, and we appreciate everything that you do. Also, thank you to the federal, state, and local agencies, the numerous trail communities, members of the AT Landscape Partnership, the senators and congressional representatives and their staffs who support the AT in their work, and so many more. Thank you to all of you. Last but not least, a very special thank you to the ATC staff for their dedication and hard work. They're an incredible bunch of people. And I would like to give special thanks today to the ATC staff that made this annual meeting possible, especially Ian Merrill and Kayla Dock. So this is my fifth and final year, having the honor and privilege to address you in this capacity. As I said, I spent about 9 years, leveraging the experiences of my past to assist with all of you to preserve one of the most incredible icons in the nation, if not the world. The entire framework is a testimony to people's creativity, forethought, resilience, and accomplishment. My time pales to the commitment many of you have made and continue to make. I simply would like to say thank you for allowing me to serve you, learn from you, and participate with you in that greater purpose that the AT represents. So people have asked me about my plans. There's a lot I want to do, most of which has nothing to do with the skills that I brought to this and other endeavors. I want to spend some time just thinking, writing, exploring what our place in this time for the purpose of nature. If I have learned anything over the last 9 years, I've learned there is no more important landscape on the East Coast than the Appalachians. And the AT serendipitously connects the north to the south, feeds the west to the east, connects people and nature. It is the reference model for stewardship and speaks to us about what needs it has and what purpose it can serve. I'm going to write about the reliance of nature on humanity's stewardship, on humanity's obligation to respect the past and present, to leverage the lessons of that past to make the future brighter for those who follow, for the need for us to embrace and respect the land we stand upon, and our relationship with the environment, for which we have critically important responsibility as stewardship. I will write of you and me and all of us. My experience with all of you has reinforced the foundation that serves as my reference for this next endeavor. So thank you to all of you. I've really appreciated serving you. So let's get on it. For the agenda, we're going to have a conversation from Sandy. Sandy will be followed by Trish, our ATC board member and treasurer. We'll take your questions and then we'll give the results of the election. Thank you again. Sandy?
Good morning, everyone. Also, can you go back to that previous slide just to remind folks, if you do want to submit a question while you're listening to us today, you can email us at election@appalachiantrail.org, and we will do our best to answer any and all the questions submitted. So thanks. Good morning. My name is Sandy Mara. I am the president and CEO of the Appalachian Trail Conservancy. This year, I am celebrating my 4th year in this role as president and CEO. It's also my 39th year of some role in relation to supporting the Appalachian Trail. I started out with the local club, the Potomac Appalachian Trail Club. I continue to maintain 3 miles of 3-mile section of the trail with my husband, as well as help manage the Blackburn Trail Center. I moved on to the Appalachian Trail Conference and then to the Conservancy when we made that switch. And through all those years, I also held a career much like Colin and had the incredible opportunity 4 years ago to bring both that professional experience and all of my volunteer experience to the forefront to be able to lead this organization as the president and CEO. It's the greatest honor I've ever had. And I tell people I am incredibly lucky to be able to have close out my career, quite frankly, in a position that brings forth all of the good things that I have learned through my life and allows me to continue to support a place that has been my passion for most of my adult life. So I too want to echo Colin's thanks to all of the volunteers and supporters of the AT. Without you, we wouldn't have a trail. It is just such a critical component, whether you are supporting ATC or out actually working on the trail itself. You are a critical part of how we do our work every day. Next slide. So I thought I might start, since we are a hiking trail, by just letting folks know the numbers for this year's hiking season of our through hikers. You may or may not know that we have millions of people visiting the Appalachian Trail every year. For some folks, it's a half-hour walk with their pup on the trail outside because it's close to where they live. It's weekends hikes, it's overnights, it's scout troops and friends groups that go out for a section. But the hikers that capture the imagination and speaks, I guess, mostly to the romance of the trail itself continues to be those who choose to hike the entire AT in a season. So as always, the ATC welcomes and tracks those hikers. We keep numbers through our registration system, and we celebrate their incredible accomplishment as they finish the trail. This year, we actually had 2 board members as well, Jim Latore and Catherine Ross, who successfully through hike through 23 as well. So we are celebrating them close to home, as well as all of these other hikers. So this year we had 2,926 folks start northbound. Of that starting number down in Georgia, 1,300 went through ATC headquarters. And as of today, which is still early days, we have 144 people. If you are listening and are part of those numbers and haven't yet sent in your letter of completion to us, please do so that we can get you registered on the list, and we will be happy to send you your certificate. Southbound, we had 295 starting this year. 10 of those have completed so far. Flip-flops continue to grow. We once again held the Flip-Flop Festival here in Harpers Ferry. And we do encourage folks, since particularly the Georgia Dahlonega start can get incredibly overwhelmed in the early spring. So it is much healthier for the trail and can give folks a bit more of a less crowded experience if you look at different ways of starting and finishing the trail in that linear route. So of those 430 flip-floppers, we've had 23. And then the section hikers, my husband completed the AT, but he did it over a series of almost 20 years, section hiking. And in some ways, as much as a through hike is an incredible, difficult accomplishment, to section hike it just takes incredible coordination, planning, and perseverance. So I do want to make sure that we celebrate all of those folks as well, who probably for years have been hiking the trail and have finished this year so far 447 of those. Next. So the Appalachian Trail Conservancy connects people to nature. It is the only nonprofit organization responsible for protecting and preserving every mile of the Appalachian Trail. And having cared for the AT through our existence, we understand it better than anyone. The ATC leads one of the best examples of public-private partnership in the nation, including a large network of maintaining clubs and volunteers, an on-the-ground effort of local, state, and federal partners to maintain the trail, its structures, its natural and cultural resources, and its surrounding landscapes. This model has been replicated across our national trail system and also stands as a global example of how to build, maintain, and preserve a long-distance recreational trail. The Appalachian Trail is one of the most iconic hiking trails in the world. It stretches over 2,198 miles of the Appalachian Mountains. It is home to a rich variety of rare plants and animal species. At least 22 million people in 14 states, from Georgia to Maine, live along the AT, relying on its natural abundance for their health and well-being. The Appalachian Trail Conservancy's mission is to protect, manage, and advocate for the Appalachian National Scenic Trail. Our vision is that the Appalachian Trail and its surrounding landscape are protected forever for all to enjoy. And we achieve this mission and vision by focusing our work around 3 pillars: protect, experience, and belong. Next slide. Protect. The experience of the Appalachian Trail is intrinsically connected to the protection of the landscape itself, the quality of its forests and viewpoints, and the health of its flora and fauna. Through the Appalachian Trail Landscape Partnership, we continue to leverage our network partners to help them set local priorities and demonstrate how small efforts lead to large-scale solutions. Through the ATC Community Engagement Program, we are determining how best to advocate and strengthen conservation and outdoor recreational emphasis of AT-adjacent communities. And through our natural resource management work, we demonstrate tangible improvements to the landscape through reforestation, invasive species eradication, and rare and native species protection. Next slide. Experience. We must better understand who is coming to experience the Appalachian Trail. We need to know how they access it and what they want from it. Our visitor management work is increasing our understanding of what is needed for trail design and development. And through our volunteer development and partnership efforts, we are building a future generation of volunteers and stewards. One of our future goals includes expanding our Ridge Runner program to provide information, interpretive and historical perspective, as well as education and outreach on responsible use and long-term stewardship opportunities for the trail. Next slide. Belong. We know that barriers still exist for people of color and other marginalized communities to experience and participate in the protection of the Appalachian Trail. In addition to recreational access, ATC also recognizes that the internal management and leadership of ours and like organizations are woefully lacking in diversity. We have worked hard to build at the top level, at the board level, to bring more diversity and a wider expansion of thought and conversation to the table. Through a reimagined seasonal crew and Ridge Runner program, we are looking to have the opportunity to recruit from diverse audiences, providing a living wage and building skills that can be translated into future full-time roles for both public sector and private conservation and outdoor recreation focused organizations. And through our Youth Leadership Academy, we'll work to develop and mentor the next generation of conservation leaders, not only for ATC, but for organizations across the US and around the world. Next slide. Oh, I guess I'm sorry, yeah. So preparations are underway to celebrate our 100th anniversary in 2025. We are looking back with pride at all we have accomplished, and we are working hard to make sure that the ATC is well-resourced and prepared to strengthen and expand our work over the next 100 years. We hope you will continue to participate and support us through this journey. Thank you. So now I want to turn it over to Trish Shannon, our treasurer.
Thank you, Sandy. Good morning. I'm Trish Shannon, an ATC board member and treasurer. It's an honor to serve you and to serve the ATC. I joined the ATC board in August 2020 and have been serving as treasurer since August 2021 and will soon be passing my duties on to a new treasurer. But I will continue to serve as an active member of the board. As always, I would like to extend my thanks to you for your commitment and many contributions to the Appalachian Trail Conservancy. And I sincerely thank you all for taking time out of your weekend to meet with us today. My goal for today is to take a few moments to share our financial results, which have been made possible through your support of ATC, and which enables us to work toward fulfilling our vision of the Appalachian Trail and its surrounding landscape being protected forever for all to enjoy. The work that we are doing not only ensures that the trail is open and well-maintained, but we also are working to protect the broader landscape, ensure a healthy ecosystem, and build the next generation of volunteers and stewards. Every contribution is put directly to work in these and other key strategic initiatives. And any size contribution can make a difference. Whether you give $50 a year or $1 million a year, you all share two things in common. Number one, you really love the Appalachian Trail Conservancy and are passionate about our work. And number two, you're all giving to an organization that cares deeply about you and will make the best use of your contribution. So let's take a moment to see how important your gift is. Let's go to the sources and uses slide. The financial information on the next two slides are from our 2022 audited financial statements, upon which we have received an unmodified or clean audit opinion. So looking at the sources of funds pie chart, the chart on the left, you can see that most of the dollars contributed to the ATC come from people like you. That is, 55% of our revenue comes from membership and contributions. Our other large revenue source is from grants and contracts at 42%. Looking at the usage of funds, the pie chart on the right, you can see that most of our expenses, 77%, go toward critically important projects like the ones that Sandy just mentioned. So the cumulative impact of a membership gift is so vast. When you all come together and give in a way that is meaningful for you, you sustain the work of the entire ATC. And this is how we've been able to do what we do for 100 years, and we sincerely thank you for it. So let's go to the next slide, please. As you can see on this slide, the need for continued support is critical. We have remained steady at around $11 million in total revenue from 2019 to 2022, after adjusting for a non-recurring contribution we received in 2021 and 2020. And I would also like to mention, as you can see on this chart, like many other organizations, we had, due to market volatility, we had some investment losses in 2022. But as Sandy shared, we have continued to grow the scope and scale of our impact, not only to the AT, but to the larger landscape that surrounds it. By continuing to invest more than 75% of dollars raised back into project expenses, we are able to continue to advance the three strategic areas of focus that Sandy touched upon: protecting the Appalachian Trail, creating a world-class recreational experience, and building of community support for the AT where everyone feels welcome. And now to the last slide, please. And at the very heart of the AT is the volunteers and supporters. The impact of volunteers in 2022 includes the following: 4,748 people dedicated an average of 36 hours of work per person, which is almost a full week of work each. And it is close to 1,000 more volunteers than we had in 2021. These volunteers work both on the trail, in visitor centers, and in meeting rooms. And using data from the independent sector, the value of those 4,748 people averaging 36 hours a year, or 170,904 hours in total, resulted in the equivalent of a $5.1 million investment into the AT. That's $5.1 million. That is truly impressive, and we can't thank you enough. So lastly, I'd just like to say, in addition to being excellent stewards, We pride ourselves in transparency. So for those of you who wish to explore our audited financial statements in greater depth, please visit our website, appalachiantrail.org, for more information. And again, thank you for your support. I'm inspired every day by the dedication of volunteers, donors, and staff of the Appalachian Trail Conservancy. And on behalf of the Board of Directors, I want you to know we have deep gratitude for all that you do, and we truly appreciate you. Thank you. And now I'll turn it back over to Colin.
Thank you, Trish. Thank you also, Sandy. Those numbers are staggering. I can't thank the volunteers enough. I mean, you are the heart and soul of everything we do, and your commitment to our mission is incredible. So thank you very, very much. As you can see on the email here, on the chart here, there's email address you can send us questions to, and we'll be happy to answer those in a few minutes. Before we get into that, though, I do want to spend a few moments on our officers and, our officers and committee chairs, and then we'll go to the Q's and A's. So first, the chair-elect is Jim Latore. He will be replacing me effective at noon today. Another very good friend and extremely dedicated to the mission. He has, as you heard from Sandy, section hiked the entire trail, finishing this year. In addition, he performs trail work with the PATC, and I think he's been on virtually every board committee. So I have great confidence in Jim carrying the ball forward. Nathan Rogers will become the vice chair, replacing Rob, who's leaving this year. Raj Singh will be the board secretary, replacing Jim. Catherine Ross will be the new treasurer, replacing Trish. And finally, Ebony Preston Goddard will be serving as chair of the Conservation Committee, and per our bylaws, will represent the board on the Stewardship Council, replacing Dan, and will be on the Executive Committee. So that's the board officers who will carry the board, carry the ball forward for next year and going forward from there. Again, if you have any questions, please submit them. It's at the bottom of your screen. If not, it's the election@appalachiantrail.org. We have folks standing by to receive those questions, and we'll do the best to address them. So, Ann, do we have anything? No questions. Okay, well, listen, once again, we appreciate everything that you do for us. We appreciate whatever it is. We appreciate the time you spend with us. And we're going to now, we'll announce the election results. Hold on a minute. The election, which ended this morning about 8 a.m., I believe, the results are 92% of the voters approved the slate. And I want to review what we have now. The 7 candidates elected, 3 were re-elected: Raj Singh, Nathan Rogers, and Ebony Preston Goddard. And we have 4 new members that joined the board: Roger Klein, Bill Holman, Greg Merritt, and Renee Alston. So I wish them all the best, and thank you again for taking the time with us today. And this concludes our meeting. You guys all have a great day. Bye-bye now.